KCIM Sports presents KCIM Sports Rewind. A look back at the week in high school sports, brought to you by St. Anthony Rehab Services. Here's Sports Director Jeff Blankman, John Ryan, and Jeff Honnold.
Well, we may be down one Jeff today, but we're still here for KCIM Sports Rewind today.
Yeah, we don't go away very often.
No. It's being low on Jeff's is like being low on blinker fluid, man. I'm telling you.
Well, you know, that group I hang out with, there's like 5 of us. Me,
I know.
Honnold, Jeff Reinhardt, Jeff Weber, and then Jeff Storion. So,
The Jeff gang.
Yeah. So it's a little bit crazy. So Honnold's the one that every now and then will just say, "Hey, Jeff," so he knows all of us will look instead of using the last name. Yeah.
By the way, we got to wish you a happy birthday. Celebrated that yesterday. Comments, and they were all nice people. What is wrong here? Come on.
I have fooled a lot of people.
I know. There was only one slightly derogatory Nebraska Cornhusker comment.
Yeah.
That was it.
Yeah. And I
So.
did like the fact that you added there are a little bit of muscle. Not much, but a little bit of muscle under all of the sweatshirts.
Yeah,
I
there was
wearing.
about 10 sweatshirts on you
Yes.
that day, so making
Yes.
you look like a real Hulk there.
Absolutely.
But,
it was
yeah.
a little chilly out that night.
We figured there wasn't any negative comments because Honnold hadn't seen it yet.
Yes. Yeah, so he posted his own last night that was very negative. So
Yeah. Oh, he could have been way worse to you.
I know
Let's
he
face
could
that,
have.
so.
I know he could have.
By the way, once again, we're streaming live here on Facebook this morning with the help of our friends, Johnston Communications. Our friends tucked back in the corner once again. I saw the first sign of spring today.
Did you?
Chelsea came in without her parka on for the first time ever. So, yay.
Yeah.
It's getting to be that
And
change of
she's
climate.
sitting over there with the fan on her without her hat and gloves on.
I forgot about that. You can turn the fan off if you want. But, yeah, I know.
She's hiding behind Jason, that's why.
Yeah. We had a busy week, though, going on Drake Relays late last week. We got to talk about some kids signing, the NFL draft, and Sam Brinks, one of our favorite guests to have on Rewind, signing a contract to go rookie camp with the Green Bay Packers.
Absolutely. Kind of texted him a little bit on Sunday. Was hoping maybe we could catch up with him, get an interview, and we will. But right now, life's kind of going about 800 different directions for that young man.
I can imagine.
Yeah. So
you always think, oh, you got plenty of time. Spring camp is not until like July. No, it starts now.
It starts now. You know, he's already probably headed there, if not already there. Got a lot of things that he's going to be places to live, where they're going to be working out, the kind of workouts and things that he needs to do now to get himself ready for everything coming up later on this summer. So yeah, had a nice conversation with him. But the one thing he did say is he goes, "I will let you know as soon as I get a few free minutes. I'll let you know, and we'll get something scheduled." In that, I had a feeling it probably wouldn't happen for a little while, because I can remember a few years ago with like Cass Weidel and those guys that it's a crazy first couple of weeks for those guys. So we'll catch up with him as soon as we can.
It is not the posh life
No.
of the superstars you think of in the NFL. It is a scrape by on whatever you can, because it's expensive. You need to hire coaches. You need to hire bus just to get you ready to try out in the NFL.
Absolutely. And, you know, and he's going to be in the gym as much as he can, you know, and everything. But, I congratulations for one, too.
Oh, yeah.
What a great
What a
career.
dream come true.
Absolutely. I mean, honestly, who probably would have thought, you know, when he walked on at Iowa as a preferred walk-on, you know, 4 or 5 years ago, that he'd be signing with the Green Bay Packers, that he'd become a really big part of what the Iowa Hawkeyes did up front the last couple of seasons. Credit him for the type of person he is. Credit him for the kind of work ethic that he has, and how he really helped himself develop into the kind of football player. He was a really, really good high school player, but man, when you're playing big-time Power 5 and you're a viable part of you know, and changing positions, going from like an outside linebacker, defensive end kind of position to the inside, and then to get yourself a free agent contract in the NFL. Tip your cap to Sam Brinks, that's for sure.
No kidding. In high school, that switch is nothing.
No, right.
You can do that.
You don't
any
even
day
have
of
to
the
put
week.
on any weight.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's nothing. But to beat all the odds, to be that, even just to get a preferred walk-on is beating all the odds. To get a starting job or to get on scholarship his senior year was beating all the odds. And now to sign with the Green Bay Packers, I mean, aside from it being the Green Bay Packers.
I was going to say, as a Vikings fan, you're probably probably not overly thrilled.
I just know he's gonna catch on and kill my Vikings.
Absolutely.
He's gonna be all over Kirk Cousins, just ruining my Sundays.
4 years of killing my Huskers. So
it's time for him to move on and pick on somebody else.
Yes, absolutely. Maybe now we'll get the upper hand that Sam's not there.
Yeah, exactly. So, Sam, go make the NFL so we can claim our first NFL guest here on KCIM Sports Rewind. But speaking of signings, there's lots of kids coming out of high school that are signing on the next level, and more coming out pretty much every single day.
Yeah, absolutely. Got a chance to catch up last week with Ben Obert of Briar Cliff, Christian Cook, Ben Obert of Coon, who's going to Briar Cliff to play basketball, Christian Cook of Coon Rapids Bayard, who's going to Graceland University to play baseball, and Stephen Grimm out of IKM Manning is heading up to BV to play some football. Also got the word late last week, have not had a chance to catch up with her. She literally texted me and was leaving a few hours later to head out on a retreat, and they just got back. But Kara Peter out of the Kemper Knights has verbaled and committed to play volleyball at Drake. So congratulations to those. Did catch up late last week with Tiana Jansen of Glidden Ralston, who had signed to run track and up at BV. Got that interview done late last week, and then caught up yesterday with Isabel Schwabe from the Kemper girls tennis team. She's going to be heading over to Loras College to play some tennis. Did not get a chance to catch up with Ashlyn Brandt yesterday, who's also on that tennis team. She's going to be heading to Simpson to play tennis. The Carroll kids had some things going on yesterday, so she played her singles match and then immediately had to leave. So I'll try to catch up with her the next time I get a chance to cover the Kemper girls tennis team.
Yeah, it's always great when you get to play one sport and you play another in spring. And sometimes these kids are playing like 3 sports.
Yeah, but they had some other event. It wasn't a sporting event. They had some other contest or some other type of a thing that they had to rush off to yesterday. And then got a couple of more kids from Coon Rapids Bayard that are going to be signing to play Thursday. They'll do their official signing Thursday afternoon at 2:30. I'm going to try to head down there and catch up with that. Caitlin Winnett from Coon Rapids Bayard, of course, going to go play softball at Grandview. And Kristen Malberg from Coon Rapids Bayard also going to be heading off to play softball. She's going to head to Coe College. So a lot of kids starting to put that name down on the dotted line. I'm trying to get to all of them at some point or another to get video interviews. I know I'm kind of running behind a little bit. Few of them, they don't always tell you that they're signing, and then you got to try and track them down at some other point when you see them and get that interview in.
Well, it's understandable. You were so busy celebrating your birthday.
Yeah, absolutely.
You've been celebrating all month long.
I have been, yeah. Glad today's the last day of the month. I'm kind of worn out.
Kind of over it by now. By the way, does it seem like there's more kids signing than ever before around this area? I don't know if we ever just didn't hear about it as much or what.
I think that we're getting told about it probably more. I've been keeping a running list for about the last 5 or 6 years of all of the kids that sign. This year, the numbers as of right now are a little bit lower than what they've been the last few years. But you start adding some of these kids to that list, and all of a sudden things, are going to get a lot closer. We may end up with more this year than what we've had in the past by the time the spring and the summer gets done.
All right, so those are just some of the signings. Look for those video interviews. You get to them just as quickly as you possibly can.
Absolutely. I get them up on all the Facebook pages, and then I tweet about them as well to let people know. So.
All right, so we're going to talk about the Drake Relays. You were down there covering that last Friday and Saturday, and we'll talk about that coming up 1 minute away. It's KCIM Sports Rewind.
As the athletes at your house. Professional in the newly renovated sports performance facility. If an injury is keeping your athlete out of the game, call St. Anthony Rehabilitation Services at 794-5000 for sports injury and treatment rehab.
Have you found yourself in need of soybeans for the 2019 planting season? Beck still has an excellent supply of regionally selected soybean products, including Roundup Ready to Extend, Liberty Link, and Liberty Link GT27 varieties. In 22,224 comparisons, Beck's soybeans out-yielded the competition by 1.8 bushels per acre. Don't get caught short on high-yielding soybeans this season. Contact your local Beck's representative to learn more, or call 1-800-937-2325.
You are listening to KCIM Sports Rewind. We are live streaming right now on our KCIM Facebook page, also the Johnston Communications page. We'd like to say hi to Stacy Belcock, who, by the way, we have one question for Stacy. He's out there. He's watching every single Tuesday.
Do you ever work?
Do you have a real job, Stacy, or is that how does that work?
Isn't he a boss?
I hope so.
Yeah.
If not, we just ratted him out.
Sorry if we created you. Well, not really.
Yeah. So, tweet it. Just let us know that answer, by the way, Steve.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Love the guy. So, Drake Relay's happening over the weekend. By the way, I was following Jared Olberding on this Facebook page. His daughter, Abby, runs track up at BV. And, what great memories at the Drake Relays for them.
Yeah, absolutely. She was a tremendous Carroll High runner and has had a really nice career up at BV and got a chance to see her last year up there at Drake. Didn't get a chance to see this year and stuff, but, she's had a really, really good career. Absolutely.
Yeah, running track. Seems to be like track is more of the pipeline to BV for a lot of kids rather than football or anything else.
Yeah, track probably right now is probably the biggest one, and then baseball and softball probably right in that mix. We've had a lot of kids in the last couple of years that have kind of, found their way up to the Storm Lake area for those two sports as well.
But Stephen Graham from IKM Manning going to break that. He's going to go play football, hoping to get some playing time right away.
Yeah, absolutely. Kind of sounds like that they might have some open positions next year for the running back position. Right now, I think with him, they're going to have two on the roster, so there's a pretty good chance he'll see some playing time as a freshman.
Yeah, you got two.
Yeah.
You're going to have to utilize them.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Let's talk about the Drake Relays. Your impressions, and, of course, we had one event Thursday, but most of the events happening on Friday.
Yeah, most of the events did happen on Friday. The Thursday event was, of course, Ashley Onken. Did a great job up there in the discus for the Carroll Tigers. Struggled on her first two throws, scratched on both of them, but then ended up throwing a 117.06, which brought her home a 15th place. So congratulations to her. Did a great job getting there. I'm sure probably a little bit of nerves after those first two throws were scratches. So to be able to kind of keep that in check and step up there and come up with a big-time throw to get a good throw in on that final throw of the day had to be a good feeling for her.
You're hoping to get that throw on the first throw,
yes,
not on the last throw.
Absolutely. So would have been nice to see her get into the finals, but just a young kid, so she's got a few more years to continue to get back up there, but terrific young lady, just a junior, so she'll have another season to get back up there, and now she'll start focusing on getting back down to state this year.
Yeah, let's talk about the rest of the kids that qualified. Pretty good group of kids that qualified this year for Drake.
Yeah, absolutely. Did have kind of a full batch of them on Thursday. A lot of South Central Calhoun kids. We had some IKM Manning and some a Kemper kid as well on on Friday. A busy kind of a packed morning. Everything was probably about 15-20 minutes apart until we had that little break before the 800 meters. But we'll start off with Josh Van Holzen from the South Central Calhoun Titans. He was in the 110 hurdles. Ran a pretty clean race. I think he said he caught a couple of hurdles, which maybe slowed him down a little bit. He ended up finishing 5th in his heat and 19th overall, a time of 15:18. I don't know if he was really pleased with the time there, but it's a little different when you're running down there at Drake because you're running against everybody from all the different classes. There's some nerves. He was one of the very first events of the morning. So
that'd be tough.
Yeah. So instead of running at 4 o'clock or 4:30, 5 o'clock in the afternoon, all of a sudden you're running this thing at 8:10 in the morning, and it's got to be a different feeling. That's for sure.
Yeah, you just don't get up and do that. That event that day. It's like going to state basketball and playing like a third place game at 10 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
You're like, really?
Yeah.
We got to play this early.
Yeah, kids aren't used to being awake at that time, let alone having to compete at that time in the morning. So 100 meters, Amos Rasmussen, kind of felt sorry from him for IKM Manning. He's been battling a hamstring injury, still did go down and run, but only about 80% of what he is normally. Finished 8th in his heat and 31st overall in a time of 12:16. Had a nice conversation with him afterwards. He was just excited to be there, get a chance to go out and do the best he could. But like I said, about 80% probably is where he's at health-wise right now. I think the key for him is probably getting healthier so that he can be ready for districts coming up here in a few weeks.
I was say, is he going to be ready for that, or how much further can that progress, do you think?
Hopefully he'll be closer to 100%, but I'm doubting that he's going to be at 100% for it. Hopefully somewhere in the 90% range or 95% range by there. But
that's just an injury that doesn't go away easily.
It's not. Yeah, and the good thing for him is him at 95% is still really, really, really good.
Yeah.
So if he can get into the 90-95% range, I think he'll have a chance to get back down to state, or back. I shouldn't say back down to state, back down to Drake. With as being a freshman, this young man's got a terrific future out in front of him. That's for sure.
Yeah, boy, you just hate to see those kind of injuries, though.
Absolutely.
That's just, I mean, you see guys derailed for seasons.
Yep.
With those kind of injuries because it just keeps nagging at you. Like Cody Case was a great example of that.
Yeah, absolutely. So he got his red shirt up at South Dakota, up at USD. So hopefully he'll be healthier coming up next season and ready to roll because he's going to have a huge year for them if he can.
Yeah.
We'll move on to Kyle Berg in the long jump from Kemper, finished 16th overall. His best jump was his first jump at 22.25 inches. He wasn't real happy with that. He was hoping to get into the 21 range. I think he said on that first jump, he just was trying to kind of get things right. And then the second two jumps, he got up more than what he needed to. I think he was trying to get a little higher to get that length, but he got maybe up a little bit too much. You could tell in the interview that I did with him afterwards, he was happy to be there, but not real excited about, how things went for him. He knew the competition was really stiff. A lot of guys were jumping 21 in their qualifying, and I think he maybe put too much pressure on himself to try and get that. He's capable of jumping and has done it, but maybe put too much pressure on himself to get there.
Not that I would ever have any clue, but I assume it's all about form. You got to hit that board right, correct? It's all about technique.
Yeah, I long jumped 35 years ago, so I can't remember all of the different.
You jumped 35 feet.
Yeah, no, I can't remember the technique that it takes. That's for sure. The memory's gone. But the South Central Calhoun boys distance medley team finished 7th in their heat in a time of 3:37.67. They were 14th overall with Josh Hinkinius, Jared Burks, Chase McAllister, and Spencer Moon. I think they were really happy. They ran one of their better times of the year. The crazy thing is just how fast everybody is down there, and that's what a lot of those guys kind of talked about. Josh felt like he got off to a pretty good start, had a nice handoff with Jared. It looked like it was a little bit high. Jared felt he ran really well coming out of the corner. Chase was like, man, I was going as hard as I could, just trying to get back into the pack a little bit, but those guys are just so fast. And then Spencer kind of clarified it too. That group is so used to running in front of everybody, and if they're not in front, it doesn't take long for them to catch them and pass them and be out in front. And Spencer said in the 800 just got out a little too fast because that's how fast that pack was running in the last 200 to 300. He was kind of tuckered out a little bit. But
that's what's tough about that competition, that
Absolutely.
field. Everybody's outstanding, and everybody runs different races. They might hang back a little bit at the beginning. They just want to run a certain pace in the first, and then they kick it in.
You bet, and that's what those guys learned. I think it was really good for them to run in the distance medley before they ran the Open 800. They got out a lot slower in the Open 8. They ran back of the pack for the first lap. And then kind of kicked it into the gear for that second lap and really finished well. Chase ended up in 5th place in a time of 1:57.68. Spencer kind of talked about maybe going a little too early on that second lap. He kind of tired a little bit down the back stretch, down the straightaway there to the finish line. Had a guy catch him just before the finish line. He would finish in 8th in a time of 1:58.33. So Spencer, though, did run a personal best time in the 800. Chase was just off of his personal best. So a really good day for both those guys.
Yeah, you can't complain with that.
Yeah, absolutely. And then we'll wrap things up on Saturday. Congrats to the Carroll girls 4x100. They went in ranked in just outside of the top 100, but ended up finishing 66th overall.
Very nice.
So a very nice jump for them. 52.65 their time. Jada Snyder, Ella Collison, Taylor Moore, and Hannah Jorgensen ran almost a perfect race probably for them. Great job by them down there. South Central Calhoun boys with Mason Merkley, Josh Hinkinius, Chase McAllister, and Jared Burks finished up 71st overall, and the boys 4x100, their time was 45.55. And then Spencer came back in the 1,600 meter run and finished up in 10th with a time of 4:27.86, and that wrapped up Saturday's action.
Wow, a lot of action going on at Drake, and some kids having a great meet, some kids maybe wanting to do a little bit better, but all in all, terrific representation from around the area.
Absolutely. This was the largest group from the local area that we've sent down in a few years, so congratulations to all those kids for a great job.
Getting a little feedback online here. By the way, Stacy Belcock assures us that he is working right now. Stacy, I'm not so sure about that. And Mike Deeth, down in Coon.
Yes.
Mike wants to know if we'd seen the Texas kid who ran the 9.98 100 meters.
Yes.
That was insane. I just saw that this morning. It's like watching Usain Bolt. He just pulled away from everybody.
Yeah, little bit wind aided, they said, but he still has kind of blown everybody away in every meet that he's been in.
Could have been hurricane force winds for us.
Yeah, set the national high school record with that run the other day. The goofy thing for me is he didn't get out great. He started out kind of in the back of the pack the first maybe 5 to 10 meters, but once he got up to speed, there just wasn't anybody going to keep up with him. He kind of ran away from everybody.
We've got some pretty fast kids around this area, but that's insanely fast.
Yes, it is.
I don't know. I don't know what the top time around this area is in the 100 meters.
I'd have to. It's in the 10s, and stuff. But I'd have to go back and kind of look through the numbers at what some of those guys have been running. But
9.98. That's world class.
Yes,
right there.
Yes. So. Well, the one thing down at Drake too, there was a young man from Kentucky, a hurdler, that ended up beating the hurdle champion for the Olympics down at Drake the other day. So
really,
there's an up and coming hurdler from the United States. He runs for Kentucky. So edged him out at the finish line. So what a great job for him down there the other day.
That's the cool stuff you see at Drake.
Absolutely. And I didn't get to see this young lady run. I wish I would have had the chance to. But there's a young lady that runs from Solon who is sight impaired. She is blind, and she ended up competing down at Drake the other day. So that was pretty cool to see. We're real quick. Didn't get to see Allison Burks from South Central Calhoun, runs up at Northwestern. Didn't get to see her run on Saturday, but caught up with her for a little while on Friday, and did watch Miles Rupiper, who's jumping up for high jumping for Iowa State, compete on Friday. Wasn't extremely pleased. Jumped about 6'8", went out. It was only the third meet that he's had so far this year, so he hasn't rounded into form yet. But I could tell after I talked with him afterwards that a little disappointed in how things went for himself on Friday.
What was he jumping in high school? Do you remember?
He got 6'11", 7 foot. So so he's off a little bit, but he'll get that form back. I'll tell you what, the interesting thing, he's not playing football next year. He has decided to step away from football, but you can tell the football weight room did him some real good. He's thick in the shoulders and in the arms now. So
the weight room diet, the football diet, and all of that going
Absolutely,
on. So,
yeah.
Right, we're going to talk more KCIM Sports Rewind. We'll talk about the local sports and what's on tap for the week coming up.
As the athletes at your house. Athletes will be under the direct supervision of a certified and licensed healthcare professional in the newly renovated sports performance facility. If an injury is keeping your athlete out of the game, call St. Anthony Rehabilitation Services at 794-5000 for sports injury and treatment rehab.
It's KCIM Sports Rewind, and the man's 48 plus 1 day, Jeff Blankman, right here. So
I'll be a day older tomorrow.
If you'd like to wish him a happy birthday, it's up on the KCIM Facebook page.
Yeah.
So
I
saw somebody posted the Nebraska, a little emoji on there with all the guys, so.
Yeah, and I caught a hard time yesterday at the Kemper and Audubon tennis matchup that Nebraska had nobody drafted for the first time since 1962.
Yeah, that did come up a couple times.
Yeah, absolutely. And to all the Hawkeye fans who want to give me a hard time, I know it's living in the past, but the next time you have somebody drafted every year for 57 years, then you can come talk to me.
All right. You heard it. The gauntlet has been thrown down. 57 years is the benchmark.
Yeah, we weren't the longest streak of the nation, but we were one of the top 3 streaks in the nation for having at least somebody drafted every year. So I don't think Iowa was one of those teams that was out in front of us, but give them credit. They had a really great draft this year. They absolutely did. And they're a better football program than we are.
And should tell you something about what Scott Frost had to deal with.
Yes,
this year,
absolutely.
The talent level.
We don't have much for talent level, but it's getting better.
It's getting there. Let's talk about Al Robson.
Yeah.
First of all, you were talking about a former track coach at Kemper.
You bet. Congrats. I know Al very well. See him at a lot of track meets. He's one of the really great starters out there. Lives over in Scranton. Was honored by the Iowa Association of Track Coaches Hall of Fame at their awards banquet. Al taught at Kemper from 1978 to 1980. 82. He was also the head girls and boys track coach from 80 to 82. Now, these awards are given out by, again, that Iowa Association of Track Coaches. They're voted on by the track coaches. This year, he was named Girls Track and Field State Official of the Year, Middle School and Junior High State Official of the Year, and also Cross Country State Official of the Year. So 3 pretty good honors for one of the great guys. Like I said, every time I see him at a meet, I always got to walk by and say hi, get a little quick conversation. You can't bother those guys too much while they're working, but you can get a quick hi and how things are going, and it's always kind of nice.
Saw the pictures of him holding up all the awards that he had. So, yeah,
absolutely.
Clear some room on the mantle for the newest ones.
You bet.
So,
absolutely.
Congratulations to him. Weather still playing a factor in some of the local sports around the area, still wreaking a little havoc, especially with track going on today.
You bet. Absolutely. Did have one track meet postponed today. It actually affects a meet already on Thursday. East Sac and South Central Calhoun were supposed to be at the Twin Lakes Conference meet up at Gowrie today. That's been postponed until Thursday. Now, Thursday was going to be South Central Calhoun's at Jim Unick Relays, and I'm just going to give you a quick rundown of all the teams that were scheduled to be there on Thursday. East Sac, Arweva, IKM Manning, Glidden Ralston, and Peyton Churdan. That's the girls and boys teams for all of those teams. But that meet has been postponed for now. They're hoping to get it scheduled maybe for Friday. They got to see how many of those schools will be able to come back on Friday. From what I understand, there's state ensemble or some other activity is going to be going on that day, so they're not for sure absolutely whether or not they'll be able to reschedule that. That's not the only event that has been affected so far today. Golf, the Carroll girls down at the Atlantic tournament down at the Country Club, that's been postponed until Friday morning at 9 a.m. Kemper boys were also going to be at an Atlantic tournament for the boys, also at the Country Club down in Atlantic. That's been postponed to Thursday. Kemper girls were headed in golf up to Lamar's to take on Lamar's in Sioux City East today up at Sioux City. That has been postponed until Thursday. So those are the postponed events so far today. Also did get word Kemper girls tennis was taking on St. Edmund last week. That meet got postponed. They've rescheduled that one for Thursday, May the 9th. So that's a make-up date. We'll get everything changed up there coming up on the schedules and on the postponements list here in a little while. And then Coon Rapids, Bayard, and Glidden Ralston girls were supposed to golf down at Cam yesterday due to the conference track meet. I didn't get informed of this until last night. They moved that meet over till today. So hopefully the weather will calm down enough and we can get that in. I do need to give a quick shout out to the third guy that's usually in the studios with us here.
Jason?
Jeff Honnold. Yeah.
Him.
Yeah.
Him.
He said that we're coming in loud and clear down in Neola. So he's on his way back from the great state of Nebraska.
Pick us up some blinker fluid while you're
bet.
there.
So, and do want to say I didn't get a chance to catch Connor Roth from East Sac County. Also competed down at Drake. Did not get a chance to see how he did down there. So did get a text here a moment ago. So apologize to people that I didn't get a chance. There's a lot of results to dig through. I tried to find everybody that I could. Didn't see how Connor ended up doing down there, but I'll keep looking.
Couple of minutes left. Who's having good weeks so far this week, and who is looking at really peaking at the right time of year?
I would say the Kemper boys golf team has come on. They picked up a couple of wins late this week over at Denison Schleswig, and then again last night won a quad over there, so they've been playing well. Carroll boys golf team is continuing to do a great job. I really like the way Drew Shirkey and Keegan Simons are starting to run over for the Arweva boys right now. Also really kind of like Grant Borkowski with the Glidden Ralston boys. Set a new personal best jumping in the high jump the other day down at the ACGC meet for Glidden Ralston. And speaking of Glidden Ralston, their girls track team right now, a lot of depth. Took second last night over at the Rolling Valley Conference meet over at West Harrison. Just got a lot of depth. A lot of kids that run really well. Alexia Nelson has been running well for them in the distance races, the 1,500 and the 3,000. She took 20 seconds off her personal best time in the 3,000 down at ACGC on Thursday last week. Also, Tiana Jansen, of of course, like the way she's been running and the hurdles, especially the 400 hurdles. And then Emily Hinders from Arweva doing really well right now in the shot put in the discus for the Rockets.
Now, you mentioned you were out at tennis the other day. Was that right?
I was out at tennis yesterday. Got some pictures from the Audubon and Kemper girls tennis matchup up on the Facebook pages. Did get that video interview as well with Isabel Schwabe from the Kemper girls tennis team about heading off to Loras to play some college tennis.
Yeah. How about soccer? Anything sticking out there?
Carol Boyds, I think, even though haven't gotten a lot of wins, playing really well right now, and I like how the ESAC boys are playing. ESAC girls starting to round into form. First year that a lot of them have played separate. They used to play in club with the boys, so kind of getting used to playing by themselves, and they're getting better every single match.
Yeah, we were just talking the other day in our meeting about state track's going to be here before you know it.
Absolutely.
3 weeks away from that.
Yeah, so May the 18th, that weekend is the weekend of state track, and then we'll have state golf and tennis and soccer all around that area as well.
So there's going to be a lot of things happening and coming to a conclusion here in the next month or so. So follow all of it online at 1380kcim.com. Of course, look for the daily schedules, the scores, the stats, the interviews, and all the kids signing, of course, all of it available. Catch a podcast of Rewind also on the website, kcim.com.
When you need to know,